Hey guys, so I figured I'd make a video on this. I have a Neptune 4 Max. That being said at the start of the video, this applies to pretty much any printer out there. But for the specific screws I'm identifying, this will be for the Neptune 4 Max, and I'm sure all the other Neptune 4s have the same layout. Alright, so the issue is that I've already fixed it, but starting out, this is the new bed. I was having a lot of bed leveling issues, and I'm a manufacturing engineer by trade, so I contacted support. But anyways, I was having a lot of wobble. I could move this up and down, and it was because these eccentric rollers weren't lined up, or so they told me. Not the case. These two rails were not in parallel. Like, these were wider down here, they were a little bit closer down at the end. I have a 12-inch caliper. You probably don't have that, but I'm going to walk you through how to fix this. That being said, going back to this is the new style bed mount. They sent me this after 4-5 months of troubleshooting because I couldn't get a good level. I've had multiple problems with this thing. This is the old style bed. This is probably what the early models have. This is what I had. I bought this in November Black Friday sale of 2024. They also sent me a different style thermal bed. They're basically the same from what I can tell. They're a little bit different materials. I can see it in the color and the flexibility. And then what else? Oh, they also sent me so I think this is the new bed sheet. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm looking at two here. So this is the old one. You know, it's just one-sided. And then they also sent me, so they sent me this stuff for free because I was having so many issues. So I've actually had pretty good luck with their customer support. They just didn't get me to the right issue. I dissected this all myself. So, all right, bed wobbling issue, how to fix it. So you got 4 bolts on each rail. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I couldn't move it after doing all that. So I'm like, well, and it's on both rails, so 4 on each rail. You have to take this thing apart on the bottom. So I've already had to come down, open this up 2 or 3 other times because they gave me different harnesses, etc., etc. They're all probably fine. But anyways, so the rails run along this axis here. You can see them coming out, the bolts that I just pointed out and identified. They're on these rails here going this way, so you'll see these back out. What you have to loosen up is also, and I recommend doing this one at a time, these silver screws. They're all hex screws. Be very careful not to over torque because you will strip everything. There's also another one under here. I took my motherboard off because I had to. I recommend saving this one for last. Do this if you don't have to, or don't do this if you don't have to. But basically what I did is I measured my distance between these 2 ends and my distance between those 2 ends. They were not that far out, but it makes a huge difference when you're adjusting something like this. Right now I have 0 wobble. This thing is perfect. Hopefully it stays like that. When you take off this cover, there's a fan right here. It's got a connector on it. You might mess up and pull the connector out. If you do, it's fan 6. You can look this up on the internet in some places, but anyways, I believe it is, let me find it. You can see it right here. It says fan 6. This is the connector. It's under my pinky right now, and I'm gonna let go. It's that connector. That's where fan 6 goes. Long screws go on the rails when you take the shroud off. If you forget, long screws, and then everything else is short screws. There's mounts here in the center as well. So yeah, taking all that apart, loosening the screws underneath right here, and right here, and right here, and right here, one at a time. I recommend, you probably don't have a pair of 12-inch calipers. So what I recommend doing is get a good setting on this on one end, and if you can feel that it's tight on this end, and loose on this end. Try to either spread or close one end, slide your bed back down, and see if you still got a little bit of wiggle. They don't move much. Thankfully, I didn't have to take a file to anything or open up a hole. I was pretty worried because I was getting pretty close to not reaching parallel, but I barely got it. I guess the machine shop, or however they're doing it on the CNC machine, tolerances aren't great, but I eventually got it in. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there is, but yeah. Oh, yes, when you're adjusting these, this is how you adjust them. I really don't want to move this anymore because I've got it perfect. But they give you this wrench. It's the biggest open end. You put that right there, and when you turn this, I'm going to do it on this one. I'm straight up and down. But when you turn this guy, you'll see that he moves up and down. You see that? It's hard to tell, but you can see that that's what an eccentric bearing does. It's an offset bearing. So when you rotate that, it moves that wheel either closer or further away from that rail. I know this is kind of a long video at this point, just for what information is in this. Leave a comment. Hopefully I can answer questions for other people. But the reason I even went down this path is I could not get a good bed level, and I started shaking my bed, and it was super loose. So I knew that I would never get a good bed level with the bed being loose. All right, thanks guys. Good luck.